Just quarter of a second between Max Verstappen and P2. And surprisingly, Norris was the driver to pick up the flag of fighting Red Bull. McLaren updates worked out perfectly, and Norris himself managed to put on a stellar lap. Let's compare and break down laps of Max Verstappen and Norris. Verstappen and Norris, they cross the start-finish line. You can see that shots are synchronized, and Max already being faster at this point. So we start. Now drivers approach turn 1, which isn't actually a turn in terms of F1. And first heavy braking. Both Norris and Verstappen are early brakers, and for turn 3 Lando manages to out-early brake Max Verstappen by just a tiny margin. They brake, they enter the corner. Here's the main feature of Norris. He brakes earlier, but he keeps the car stable and he manages to bring in as much speed as possible. So for now his car is just rolling and Max is already engaging on the throttle. Now the work mid-chicane will be pretty different. Max was down by 10 kph, now he is up by 12 kph. He was way more aggressive with his throttle and he started pressing his brake pedal just before switching the steering wheel, trying to load the front axle a little bit and help with pointing the car into the corner. Norris on the other side firstly makes the steering work, then starts to brake. Now check, Verstappen is fighting the car on the entrance. Norris doesn't have to fight his car. And right here, first DRS zone, and we see Max being slightly ahead of Norris, and the same small difference, half a tenth of a second in sector times. But the whole difference was won on the previous straight, which included DRS zone, and as you probably know, Red Bull has just a magic DRS. So let's drag Norris forward just for a few frames, actually one frame, so shots are synchronized again, and let's move on. Turn 6, and again for this turn, Lando brakes a bit earlier than Max Verstappen, staying true to his early braking feature. Now, lines would be pretty different. Lando is making an earlier entrance and clips the apex perfectly, while Max Verstappen actually misses the apex. Right here, Carlos goes full wide, and for the first time during this lap, Lando will brake later on. But in this area, braking point in itself doesn't matter so much. The amount of brake pressure matters, but unfortunately we cannot check this using F1 telemetry. So, we saw Verstappen actually fighting the car a little bit, both having some V-shaped trajectories. And as a result, you can look here, we can see that Lando is actually a bit ahead after a previous chicane, but here on a straight and later in copse, Red Bull's top speed will take advantage. We already see that entering copse, Verstappen is already ahead. Qualifying, copse flat out, not basically a corner once again. Now we enter maggots, also not a corner actually for F1 cars, and we see basically the same difference which we saw on a previous shot, so let's drag Norris forward once again. Now Beckett, with Lando going off the throttle a little bit earlier, and right here I can say that Max Verstappen goes a little bit off the line. Lando is on a perfect line. Verstappen falls off just a little bit. It may look not important, but it actually matters. In those fast sweeping sections, if you go just a little bit off the line, you lose this perfect timing and you can lose a chunk of lap time as a result. That's why I guess Max taps the brakes so early. And you can see the results. He went too far to the right and now his apex will be an early one. Norris has a solid 13 kph speed advantage and his line is on point. Also Max uses two pedals technique, which is not so typical for him. Now let's move on. But actually Max didn't lose so much and we see him winning one more tenth of a second. But the whole difference was done on a section between Laffield and Beckett using Red Bull's top speed. But we do not really know, maybe current McLaren in current setup has more downforce. So I'm not blaming Max, but the second sector wasn't actually his fastest sector, I bet due to that mistake in Beckett's that I showed you just now. So let's move on. Sector 3. DRS will be wide open once again, and once again huge top speed advantage, about 10 km per hour. We see them braking at the same time, but Max Verstappen right now is a bit ahead. So again, Lando brakes earlier and Max Verstappen will just nail this corner. We see he opens up really early and now has maybe 2 cars advantage of Lando, so perfect cornering from Verstappen, and let's drag Norris down. And we move on to the final chicane. And actually the biggest difference in braking points, around maybe 20 meters, which is huge. And for entrance to this corner, Lando will actually break his character. He is always smooth in corner entrances, but right here he will just demand from his steering wheel. Check this out. Boom. A noticeable difference, Lando decides to have a higher medium speed throughout the corner, while Verstappen had a lower medium speed throughout the corner, but tries to maximize the exit. We can see it on throttle work. But considering that start-finish line is just around the corner, working around medium speed is more beneficial than working around the exit speed. And we see Max actually loses his rear just a little bit. And we see Lando actually winning the last chicane, but Max won the stall corner and the whole straight before it, so he still gains 1/10 of a second, resulting in total quarter of a second. But still McLaren showed some performance, and of course it's nice to see Lando Norris on a front row. This is it, thank you very much for your view, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel for more F1 analysis. Set and go.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey.